Hello, DEVS 100 students. My name is Marcus Taylor. I am the head of department here in Global Development Studies. And if you took DEVS 100 on campus, you will know me well from the fall term. So what I wanted to do was just talk through some of the reasons that you should be considering taking DEVS as a concentration, either as a major, a medial, or a minor. And I had the opportunity to speak to some of you here on campus in the class earlier this term, but I'm following through with a sort of video of my comments then for those that are either taking this course on the online at the BISC or weren't able to attend the workshops that day. So I had prepared a little slideshow just to go through the details of what DEVS can offer you as a program of study here at Queen's. So let me switch to that. Okay, so here's some of the key reasons why choosing DEVS as a program makes a lot of sense, particularly if you're interested in the kinds of questions of global engagement, social justice, the big issues of the time, climate change, questions of inequality, poverty, etc., all the kinds of things that you will have touched upon within DEVS 100. The rest of the program really gives us the room to develop those analytical routes of inquiry alongside with the kind of practical skills needed for engagement with government, international organizations, and the private sector. So if you're thinking DEVS, and I'm sure having taken DEVS 100, you've already got an idea of this, it is an intrinsically interdisciplinary program. That is, it tries to bring together a focus on questions of politics and the economy, with questions of culture and social change, along with the big question of sustainability, climate change, and biodiversity loss, all those kind of questions raised. And of course, the subset of Indigenous studies as well. We offer, here at DEVS, we have a number of the core courses for the Indigenous Studies program on campus. So these are the four sort of areas that come together. And then if we look at that less as an academic enterprise and more what kinds of transferable skills you'll get through taking this program, we see a sort of correlate set of things. So analysis and problem solving, that's a big one. And lots of the kinds of assignments and workshoppy activities that you've done in DEVS 100 are about the sharpening our analytical skills, our ability to explain the world around us. Why are things happening the way they are? So there's a kind of analytical aspect, and also the problem solving of then saying, all right, I have my analysis. How do I put that to use in addressing some of these major challenges that we see before us? Research and information management. And that's a huge aspect of our program, the ability to track down information, knowledge, whether it is from government documents, readings of the academic thing, non-governmental reports through to newspapers, so forth, getting that information, managing it and using it and producing it back, whether you are doing a paper or a presentation or so forth. Which leads us down to that quality of communication and interpersonal skills. So obviously this is an absolutely central thing for employers at the next level, no matter what your area of employment is. The ability to communicate well, both spoken and written, is absolutely essential. So within the DEVS program, we make sure that you're practicing those skills, that you're doing both written and oral communication skills in a range of settings, from small groups to larger groups, through to the written materials, writing for different kinds of audiences. Those kind of skills are really important. And the last aspect that's really central to our program is this idea of sort of cross-cultural communication, community engagement, and so forth. What kind of skills and dispositions do we need to be able to engage with at a community level through to a governmental level and so forth, and particularly with the emphasis of a lot of the work that our faculty here in DEVS do, engaging communities on the ground level. We can offer courses that give really specific training in those kinds of areas. So those are the kind of range of transferable skills that you get out of a DEVS program. All of them, we've really designed this to give you the kind of skills you need, whether you're going into the sort of governmental, the international organization, to work with the private sector, social enterprises. All these are really very relevant skills, and we deliberately bring them into the curriculum at various points. So what is that curriculum? Okay, so broadly, as you imagine, our program has four levels that build one upon the other. introductory course. Well, that's DEVS 100, what you've been doing. Then we're moving to DEVS 200 level courses. Our 200 level courses, I'll show you, got quite a range of them. They sort of put the foundational knowledge posts in place so that you can build more interesting, more finely graded research after this. Then 300 level, acquiring further tools and broaden our perspectives. We offer a range of more focused topics courses at the 300 level. And then by the time we get to the 400 level, we have a range of closely taught seminars with small groups, etc., just to sort of be the capstone of the program. Look in this in more detail. So, there's a range of 200 level courses. You don't have to take all of these, so you have to do a selection of them. But these range from things such as, the political economy development, culture and development, global environmental transformations, which is one that I'm teaching at the moment, gender development, and our new course, global health and development. All of those kind of give the sort of the academic basis for engaging globally. So both development studies and global engagement contexts more broadly. You really learn about the world and the foundations of questions from health to deforestation through to trade policy throughout those bundle of courses. I'll also note that, as previously said, we've got the Indigenous Studies courses, DEVS 220 and DEVS 221. That's Introduction to Indigenous Studies and further Indigenous Studies that are foundational for this for students that want to move into that area of study. We also, I just draw your attention to DEVS 210, Development and Practice, and this is a sort of what we might call a crossover course. Part of it is focused upon the question of what it means to work in a development setting. And it's taught by an instructor that's worked on projects both with governments and international organizations across Southeast Asia, everything from Oxfam to the Asian Development Bank, etc. And so she's able to relate both the sort of broader ethical questions about what it means to do development and governmental projects, but also some of the kind of skills that you need for that. So it's kind of both practical and academic fused together. And similarly, our course DEVS 280, Global Engagement, looks at the ethics of working and cross-cultural communication in a global setting. And so it's really a course which sort of tries to broaden horizons and gives students the dispositions needed to be effective cross-cultural communicators. So that's at the 200 level, a range of courses. Of course, most students take these, some of our 200 level courses across the length of the program. You don't have to take them all in second year. Third year courses, I jumped through there. Third year courses, I mean, this is just a handful of them. We offer a good range of courses that allow you to go a bit deeper into the areas that you want. You can fine tune your program. So, if you're into sort of, business and development, how do those come together? So there's a course for you. Whereas, climate change and disaster management, there is a course for you. Technology, migrants, cities, urbanization. Obviously, these are courses that allow you to go a bit deeper into these really key themes of change and transformation on a global scale. And then at the fourth year level, we offer a number of seminar courses. So, be there with a group of maybe sort of 15, 16 students and working with some of our professors, all who are really experienced, have major international research projects. Our faculty is really unparalleled in that at my last count, 12 of 13 of our faculty had federally funded research projects in various parts of the world, including Dr. Diana Cordova, who's currently working on a project around palm oil expansion in Latin America. Its impacts both social and environmental. Dr. Suzanne Soderberg, who has been working on housing and shelter and migrant populations in Europe. David McDonald, who's got a long-standing project on municipal governance across multiple African settings, and so forth. These people are leading experts, and so at fourth year, you can get to do tightly knit, close-in seminars with them. And of course, this is just three of our faculty. We have obviously many more. So one other thing that's really important about the program, DEVS really gives you some good opportunities for what we could call experiential learning in global engagement settings. So our course DEVS 307 is just setting off very shortly to go to Cuba, to Havana. This is, of course, where you do DEVS 306, which is Cuba culture and society. You do it in the winter term, you do it on campus, you study Cuban culture and society, and then you do 307, which is the on location in Havana, 2 weeks working with two professors who have connections to all sorts of things, from artists to urban gardeners through to people working in all kinds of society and cultural things in Cuba. They have networks and links that you and I can only dream of, and you can take advantage of them by going on this guided 2-week course in Havana. We also have a South Africa summer school in Johannesburg. This gives you an opportunity to collect 9 credits by going and studying in the University of Witwatersrand, which is one of the key African institutions. You get to do small seminar courses. We'll have a DEVS instructor on site who can do some guided cultural work and reading groups. Incredible experience, and that will be running in the next couple of summers. So you have an opportunity to go to South Africa. Incredible experience, get some credits at the same time. What's not to love, right? And lastly, we have a really great DEVS 410/411 program. So this is where you, at the end of your third year, you select to do DEVS 410 and 411. You work with one of our instructors to set up a work study placement. It's something that appeals to you, working in the broader field of development. Some people do it in Canada. Some people have taken up sort of internships here in Kingston. Some people go globally. You get 9 credits towards this by working with the instructor, both preparing prior to going, bringing out the sort of global engagement, the ethical questions, the cross-cultural communications, doing your work study, coming back, taking DEVS 411 once you've returned, which is a sort of reflection with the group of students, talking about what was learned, what the experience was like, etc. Incredible program. And again, you go, you do the work, you pick up the experience, and you also get 9 credits. It's not bad, hey? So, wonderful global opportunities here to engage. And obviously that doesn't preclude going on the more standardized exchanges worked through the international office and so forth. Those 3 programs are specific to DEVS. So where does DEVS lead? Question I often get asked. I have to say it can lead all over the place. I have written reference letters for students that applied and successfully achieved jobs in all sorts of fields all over the world. I would say that a lot of DEVS grads go into government and policy making in some way or another, from people that work for the large international organizations through to those that work for government in Canada at various levels, from Ottawa through to Toronto. One of our former students got a job working in disaster preparedness for the government of Manitoba. So all sorts of things. But government and policy making, evidently, our program really sort of has a bit of an emphasis on that and gives you some of the kind of global awareness and transferable skills you need to enter that kind of field. But also journalism. We have a lot of students that have gone on to write creatively and work their DEVS degree into journalism things. So DEVS graduates, you can find them in the Globe and Mail and print journalism and in some of the media, etc. Education. Now, clearly that includes both students that go on to teach various things, but also those that go on to do further studies, write reference letters for students that go into all sorts of graduate programs all over Canada. And some of them stay within a more development or sustainability things. Some of them move into the sort of more formal disciplines of politics and sociology, etc. But DEVS is a ladder for those students to go and get into grad school, etc. And many of our a good number of our former students are now actually professors themselves. And private sector is another key element of this. Students, particularly with an emphasis on social enterprise and so forth, combining DEVS with other programs. Lots of people doing that kind of thing. Law and human rights. That's a big trajectory. Write a lot of reference letters for students going to law school, particularly like that kind of blending in the human rights elements with the legal. Oh boy, that's a big thing. And last but not least, NGOs, advocacy, and social movements. That wing of things that students pick up the skills to be involved, not necessarily as profession, but sometimes as voluntary stuff. But they go into those kinds of roles with a great background and extremely informed. So what do you need to get into DEVS? Let's get to the bite here. Okay, so for automatic entry into the major, medial, or minor, you need a 2.5 GPA overall and a B- in DEVS 100. Now, that's just for automatic entry. That just means your ticket is punched and you're just straight in. But obviously, we have a pending list then. So if you don't quite make those criteria, you don't make them at all, don't worry. Many people will then just go on the pending list, and we keep adding names until we've hit our absolute limit of how many students we can let into DEVS owing to our capacity. So to get that, you need a 1.9 GPA. There's no particular course requirement at all. We just go through the list and admit students, and many students move into DEVS that way. So if you don't meet the automatic criteria, do not worry. We go right down through our pending list, admitting people into the program over the summer. So that's the broad brushstrokes, what the program's about. Now, obviously, if you're interested in any of that, please feel free to write me personally, or you can write devs.student@queensu.ca and get all the information that you need. I hope you consider joining DEVS. We are also a really fun program. We have a lot of engagement from faculty with students. We've got a lovely lounge just down the corridor from me where students hang out all day, lots of desks, etc., undergraduate space, etc. Our DSC, that's our Department Student Committee, are really keen and committed, and they provide a lot of opportunities for getting involved. And we have a really big grad program as well. So you can actually, as an undergraduate, you'll get TAs that you recognize from year to year, and they can give you mentorship and advice as they're working through their own PhD or MA program. So it's a really convivial place to study in. I hope you can join us, and I hope to see you in our classes in the years to come.